Okay, Houston Cougars are with us, student athletes. Galen Robinson Jr., Corey Davis Jr. They will play Ohio State tomorrow night's second game after the first game with Buffalo and Texas Tech. We will go right to questions for the two student athletes. We're going to start right here in the front.
Mark Berman from Fox. For both you guys, talk about the challenges, and obviously your coaching staff is very good at putting game plans together, the challenges of prepping for a team you haven't played before and you only have a short time to do it. Both you guys.
Galen, please first.
It definitely poses as a big challenge because there's a level of unfamiliarity with them. We play in conference play, you play everybody twice, and a lot of guys you've played over the years, so you have a good feel for them. But this is a Big Ten team. Never played them before, never played any of their – well, we played one player last year, but for the most part, it's a really unfamiliar kind of feel to it. But, we just have we trust in our coaches to get us a good game plan, and we're going to buy into it.
Yeah, I think this time around it just takes a level of focus that we don't like. We have to have another level of focus rather than like a regular season game of teams we've normally played or someone in our conference. We have to be very detail oriented and just trust our coaches because I feel like they do a great job with all our scouts. So we just have to just pay attention and just stick to all the details that they give us.
Corey, you've recently mentioned how focused this team feels, how locked in. Not that you weren't all season, but did that change right after the conference tournament in Memphis? When did you really feel that feeling start to change?
Honestly, all throughout the week before we played Georgia State, we just really had a level of focus. I think it started from the loss Sunday against Cincinnati. Ever since that game, we just really came in very prepared every practice, every shoot around, every film session. We just had a level of focus that I didn't normally feel nor see throughout the season. Not saying that we weren't focused throughout the season, but just I guess a higher standard of being focused.
Right in the back, please.
Yeah, Ron Stokes, WBNS Columbus. Second year in a row, you guys are playing a Big Ten school in the NCAA. Just your overall impression of the Big Ten as compared to your conference.
Galen, you're first, please.
They're a big, dominant, physical team. They got a dominant, dynamic five-man as well as other guards on the perimeter. So, it's definitely a different kind of feel, different kind of brand of basketball that we're used to playing in an opponent. But we just a bunch of dogs, and we're ready for anything that anybody may throw at us.
Yeah, just to reiterate what Galen said, they're a very methodical team. They know what they want to do. They run their sets. They play through who they want to play through. And like I said, like Galen said, it's a whole different type of basketball that we play because we like to run and gun, make everything fast plays, just play hard, aggressive. So we have to just like I said, just be focused and just ready for whatever. Just be ready for whatever they throw at us.
Daniel Gutierrez, KHOU in Houston. What is it about Coach Sampson's style that allows your brand of basketball to shine? Well, watch out. To shine even more. Coach Sampson's style. What is it about that breeds so much confidence in you guys?
Corey, you're first on this one, and we'll have an answer from Galen as well.
I think it just contributes to the freedom that Coach Sampson gives us, especially as guards. He has all the confidence in the world in us, and he just allows us to make plays, run the offense, just especially me and Galen, just basically do whatever we want on defense or whatever feels right to us. He gives us a lot of freedom, and I think that contributes to our confidence and how hard we play.
Oh, yeah. To piggyback on Corey said, he definitely gives us freedom, but more so he believes in our instincts. He tells us just to trust our instincts. Whatever we feel like we need to do, trust it and believe in it and do it because we have a bunch of guys who have pretty high basketball IQ, so for the most part we know what to do in, let's say, a lot of emergency situations. So just trusting your instincts and just play with freedom, and he allows us to do that, and, thank him for that.
John Hoover, The Sporting News. A couple of days ago, Kelvin talked about his time in the NBA and the things that he learned. As a head coach, he said he never used to delegate game planning, but he learned in the NBA that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of describe, both guys, please, Corey and Galen, describe how that process works for you guys when the game planning comes down from one of the assistant coaches?
Galen, lead us off, please.
Every our coaches, they pretty much have similar styles. They're all pretty much detail-oriented. But Coach Sampson, he definitely has the final say if he sees like an adjustment that needs to be made. But for the most part, it's all about detail and knowing everything to the T. Personnel, game plan, schemes, all that stuff is all just tied into the big umbrella of the game plan.
Yeah, I think all of our coaches in general take a great pride in whatever scouts they're given. So that's like Galen said, they're very detail oriented. They'll know every player's strengths and weaknesses, what sets their run. Like they just know everything to the T, and they'll have us prepared every game.
I know this one's obvious, but your connection with Houston, Kelvin talked about yesterday, a couple days ago, how you were the first one to really buy into the vision and things were still in their foundational stage, but he got your buy-in and he was able to get others' buy-ins. How would you describe your connection to the program, the city, the fans, local basketball? I mean, it's so deep with you.
It's definitely a part of me, definitely a part of who I am, a big chunk of my heart. I'm just Houston in a nutshell. I don't even know what else to say. I love my city. Lived there my whole life, born and raised. I love my school. And I get to wear Houston on my chest. Can't put a price tag on that. You can't. And, I'm thankful Coach Sampson, he gave me the opportunity to do so, in front of my family and friends every night. And, I'm just blessed to be in this position.
Just curious, in terms of Kelvin in the NBA, does his time there, does this show up for you guys at all? Does that manifest in practice or film study or communication with you guys, just the time that he spent in the NBA?
Corey?
Yeah, a big chunk of his coaching style definitely trickles from the NBA, and you can tell through the way he runs his offense, how he just runs the program in general. You can feel like it's a level of intensity and just like overall intelligence that's not normal in most Division I coaches. So you can definitely tell, especially when he speaks.
And Coach Sampson, he likes to tell stories, and he has very vivid imagery. So we were like, son, who was the hardest guy Greg Popovich used to coach on? Tim Duncan. He loved to be coached. Those guys love to be coached. I think him being around those guys, and those are Hall of Fame, first team Hall of Fame guys, and knowing that they want to be coached and that Coach Popovich used to get on them like he does us. It definitely makes us feel like we're not alone because everybody gets the same treatment. But Coach Sampson, he's definitely the smartest person I've been around, and in terms of just knowing what to do. So I definitely think the NBA definitely helped him.
For both you guys, what if you? I'm assuming you've noticed the support you're getting, whether it's in Houston at these watch parties, or all the fans that are here from Houston or UH fans. What have both you guys thought about the support you're getting on this journey?
Corey, you're first, please.
It's just absolutely amazing just to know we have the whole city behind our backs, and it just goes to show how much they support us. Even when they can't make the games, they'll just get that extra effort to start a watch party and almost have the whole entire city at watch. So it's cool. We always get like pictures and little messages of like the watch parties or videos or whatever the case may be, and it's really cool.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely cool, definitely a blessing, but it's just a testament to how far we've come. You know what I mean? I remember there were times we didn't have that. Like I said, we used to go to frat houses, and they used to rush us off the doorstep. But, we now have everybody's support, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm thankful for the fans and the support they give us.
Hi, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch. There's a lot of talk about Tom Izzo in the last few days. I'm just curious, 1 to 5 with Coach Sampson, 1 being mellow and 5 being ultra fiery. Where does he fall on that little scale? And have you seen him mellow at all since you've been here?
Galen, first, please. Galen?
What is 10? Coach Sampson, Coach Sampson and I personally, we have a different relationship. So, he's a fiery guy, very fiery guy. But at the end of the day, that it's from the heart, and he means well. You know what I mean? And a lot of times as competitors, we get competitive. But Coach Sampson definitely sees past that, and he just knows me. For the most part, and that's just a great characteristic to have as a coach.
Yeah, honestly, Coach Sampson is the first coach I've ever had that I've actually feared and loved at the same time. He's just one of those individuals that have a personality that's just unmatched. I mean, he'll definitely show that he loves you, but just in his own way. He's just so passionate about everything that he does, and he just has an amazing, just a charisma about him.
That's a great word, charisma. Yeah.
Expands the vocab, my guy.
It's a great word. But yeah.
Yes, question right there in the middle.
Quentin Martinez, Corpus Christi Caller-Times. Galen, you talked about it. It's a little bit of a leap of faith on your part, to get to see where the program is now versus where it was when you were being recruited. Could you have imagined that you guys would be here, 4 years later?
I've always dreamed about it, but I never thought I'd actually get here. When I was making my decision, I wasn't worried about no March Madness, worried about this, worried about that. I just wanted to just play first and foremost. But the more I played and the more I realized we actually had my freshman year, I realized we had a really good team. We just didn't make the NCAA tournament, but it slowly but surely became more of a reality. More of a goal, and it started to seem more attainable. And I think last year would definitely kick down the door for years of success to come in the future. So, but to be one of the first guys to buy into a vision, I'm just blessed that I did, because Lord knows where I'd be.
Yeah, Ohio State players were saying last night that part of their recent success, is buy-in, that they're buying in finally late in the season. What does that mean to you when someone says buy into a program, buy into what coach is trying to do? What does that look like?
Corey?
I think buying into whether it be a team or a program as a whole is just sacrifice. And a lot of people don't understand the things, especially kids that come out of high school and thinking they're more than what they actually are, and knowing that they, instead of just being like a main guy or that go-to guy, you have to find your role and just become great at that. And that's probably the start of buying into any program or any team in general.
Coach Kellen, he has this saying, just surrender. You know what I mean? And when you surrender, you just become selfless. And when you become selfless, it's easy to make that transition to buying into a program and the vision, as well as buying into the culture. And once you buy in, you have a chance to do something special. And that's really the big key, is getting everybody on the team to buy in, from 1 through 12, 1 through 13.
Anything else for the Cougars of Houston? All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Yes, best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Terrific stuff. Thank you. Terrific stuff.
3:30, right? Hey, Coach. Great. Can you come early?
He can come early, yes. Whenever he's ready, actually. Okay, we're ready.
That's why I let these two, because they're good. Imagine Graham Brady up there.
They did it back there.
Now the head coach of the Cougars, Kelvin Sampson, we're going to ask him to make a statement about the day in between games, and then we'll go to questions. Kelvin, please.
Blessed to still be playing. It's after tomorrow night, I was just talking with the lady outside. This time last week, everybody was excited about Selection Sunday, and it's kind of like Christmas morning. You don't know where you're going to be or who you're playing, and so much excitement about that. Tomorrow night, there's only 16 teams left, so a lot of basketball to be played, and we're excited to having won last night and get a chance to play again on Sunday.
Kelvin, John Houston's been with you guys since '97, and obviously he predates you, but He's one of those people who's seen so many things happen, the rebuild of the program. What's it mean to somebody like him that you've dealt with for 5 years to be in this situation and having watched this program go through so many different changes?
It's those trainers are they're worth their weight in gold. It's they have so many responsibilities. John and I talk at 8:30 every morning, during the season, from October 1st until unless we're on a road trip together. We go through all the injuries. He has a great feel for people. Kids will talk to the trainer in ways that maybe they won't talk to the coach. But John's just a great person. I've only seen John cry one time, and that his son got accepted to Naval Academy, and when his son left, Trey, because he's really, really tight with his family. His wife was a gymnast at the University of Kentucky, and Trey's got accepted into the Naval Academy, and just a big-time family man from a great family. I was impressed with John from the get-go. I had a great trainer at Oklahoma, Alex Brown, and when I came over to University of Houston, Alex called and told me about John, how good he was. So, there's a couple positions that you don't want to change, and the trainer's one of them. We've been blessed to have John for these 5 years, and he's great for this basketball program.
Kelvin, you go.
No, you got to say who you are.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mark Berman from Fox Houston.
Okay, now you can go.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't look for favors.
Vet move on your part. You'd like to talk about the challenges of prepping for a team you've never played, but you haven't played, and you only have 1 day's notice or so, a couple days' notice. It's part of the tournament, I know, but the challenges of prepping for a situation like that.
Yeah, we're all in it. Whoever's playing today or tomorrow is doing the same thing. I was watching a game before I left the room. Who was it? LSU in Maryland. You just do the best you can. I don't overanalyze it or worry about it. It's we watched them play last night and didn't know who we were going to play until later. It was after 11 o'clock, I think. But I just watched them on my laptop. I just watched a couple of their games. We played Michigan last year in the second round. So we're familiar with a lot of their players. So I watched them play Michigan just to see how Michigan defended some of their actions. But whoever you play the second round is always going to be a good team, and Ohio State's a good team.
Kelvin, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch. A lot of talk about Tom Izzo and his methodology the last few days. You've done this a long time. I assume you have some thoughts on this. Is this a societal issue, or what do you think of the heat he's taking, and is it warranted, is it not?
There's coaching is is all about relationships. I've seen that guy before, the Tom Izzo. I've seen that guy, but I also have seen the relationship with that coach and that kid, and that kid embraces that and expects it. And I think it's one of those things where it looks a lot worse than it actually is. I don't know enough about banking to comment on a bad investment. I don't know enough about what a good surgery is or a bad surgery. The thing about coaching is everybody's a coach. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody knows what they can do or what they can't do. But the only thing that bothers me is evaluating a person you don't know. It's amazing how we hold other people to standards we won't hold our own self. So to me, that's Tom Izzo coaching his team. That's the way he coaches. And there's not a kid that signs with Tom that doesn't know what they're getting into, and yet they do. So I don't see a problem.
How about you? I asked who your players that on 1 to 5 1 being mellow and 5 fiery, and they said, what about 10? Have you
Was
mellowed?
that 5 and 5, or is that how you got to the 10?
Yeah, I don't know.
They both said 5, and so we added the 2 together. Or?
Have you mellowed or not? And just your journey in terms of...
I don't know if that's for me to answer. I mean, Montana Tech was a long time ago. You know, when I was at Montana Tech, I didn't know whether I was on foot or horseback. You know, I was just a young guy that, you know, when you're young and you lose a game, you never think you're going to win another one. But I wasn't a very good coach, though. I didn't know how bad maybe bad's the wrong term. I didn't know how inadequate I was as a coach until I got older. And sometimes I always felt like I should have called those kids at Montana Tech and apologized to them for not knowing any better than I did. I tried to get better as I was 24 when I went there. I became the head coach when I was 25. So that just shows you how hard or bad a job it was. They'd hire a guy like me. If it was a good job, they'd have never hired me. They just said, well, here, give it to him. What the hell we got to lose? I don't think they'd ever had a winning season. But I tried hard. But you know, my dad was real. My dad always wore a coat and tie. You know, that's one of the reasons why I always wear a coat and tie. He always did. He just always wore a coat and tie. You know, he always had a towel over his shoulder, but never heard him raise his voice much. You know, but that was his personality. You know, so I tried to be like him in a lot of ways, but I tried to be like me more. You'd have to ask those guys from Montana Tech and Washington State. I'm sure they would tell you the same thing, though.
Sure, you did the best you could at the time. Kelvin, John Hoover, The Sporting News. I got interested in what you said a couple of days ago about delegating and what you learned from Pop and what you learned from Kevin McHale about delegating. On your staff, logistically, what does that look like, the communication process? Do the guys divvy it up? Do you assign certain games to certain coaches, or do you have a coach who's in charge of one specific part of the game planning, or what's that look like?
No, I do the assigning because everybody's personality is different. You know, I don't think there's some things assistant coaches aren't ready to do. They're not the head coach. They can do a lot of head coaching things, but like I want the guy that I think is does the best job, the most thorough job, is going to put the time and energy and go the extra mile in terms of scouting or game prep. I want him to have the hardest teams. Because you're a really good team doesn't mean you're a hard scout. You know, sometimes the really, really good teams are easiest teams to scout because they just got good players. They don't run anything tricky. You know, they just line up and, you know, we're getting ready to give it to the fullback, stop us. Whether you can or can't, that's up to you. But we have some really good coaches in our league that require one of my rules is you have to watch the last 5 games. You know, this time of year, we don't have time to go watch Ohio State's games in November and December. This time of year, you are who you are recently. So you go watch their last 5 games, and then I want somebody that's going to take the time to go look at every close game they've had, say, in conference season. What did they do with under 30 seconds left, they called timeout. What did they run? They needed a 3, what did they run? They needed a 2, what did they run? If it's baseline out of bounds, not every assistant will be thorough maybe in something like that. So that's why as a coach I assign the games. Now once they do the games, I let them use their creativity in scouting reports. I don't have a template for that.
In the back.
Yeah, Paul Keels from WBNS Radio in Columbus. Kelvin, having been to the NCAA tournament a number of times over the years, is there still a point of making it special for yourself, coaching staff, players, while also dealing with the things like the quick turnaround and things like that?
Absolutely. This is a great experience for these kids, and I want them to know how special it is. And I don't care what school you come from. It doesn't matter. I've been to the NCAA tournament in it was the Pac-10 then. Pac-10, Big 12, Big 10, American Athletic Conference. It's all the same. There is no difference. It's all the same. When you're sitting in front of that television and you get little butterflies, and all of a sudden they say in the Midwest Regional, the 3 seed, the University of Houston, and here comes the euphoria. The only difference is cell phones. Back in the Pac-10 days, no cell phones back then. Just that's a lot different. I guess that just shows how old I'm getting, I guess. But I still like to see the excitement. Like this morning when we came down for the coaches met early this morning on some scouting report stuff, watch film. But just seeing the kids come down for breakfast and just talking to them and asking them, what was the experience like? It's just seeing their excitement in their eyes. They're different, because this is different. You never, and it could be gone just like that. And the thing that's always I've never gotten used to is the finality of the last game. Texas Tech's going to play Buffalo. I mean, think how good those two teams are. Somebody's season is going to be over. They're done. No more scouting reports, no more practice, no more meetings, no more. It's over. And then you're lost. You don't know what to do with your time. We play Ohio State tomorrow night at 7:40. They've got a good team. We've got a good team. But one of those teams, when they get up Monday morning, you're not going to go to practice Monday morning. You're not going to have any more staff meetings with this particular team. You think about the seniors. It's all those things that make going to the tournament special. So, and we try to do some neat little things for these kids. To have as mementos, just things that they can remember, because they'll remember this for the rest of their life. Because I got a call yesterday from a kid that played for me at a former school that actually this morning he saw us play last night. He played for me 20-some years ago, and he says he still remembers. Good news is I still remember. I still remember.
We have about 7 minutes left in this session. We have 3 questions up. 1, 2, and 3. Go.
Kelvin Brian Smith, Houston Chronicle. Ohio State, physical Big Ten basketball. Do you expect a game like that, or is that? And you dealt with Michigan last year in the second round, or is that idea outdated in this modern age?
What is with this team, because of the Wesson kid? He's big and strong and physical. The fact that he's big and strong and physical is not what makes him really good. It's his basketball IQ. He's got great hands. He understands how to play, and they do a good job playing through him. They put you in positions where you have to play him one-on-one sometime. The kid that we've played that's similar to him was last year, the kid for Wichita State, Shaq Morris. Very similar. Shaq wasn't as skilled as this kid. He couldn't step out and make a 3, for instance. Wasn't going to lead the team in assists from the 5 spot. But he could score the ball just as good. But we haven't seen a kid that his size, that can post you, pass it, shoot it, score it like him. But I'm not sure a lot of leagues have that. I don't think it has anything to do with the conference they're in. I think it's unique to that kid. He's a really good player.
Ohio State was saying last night that over the last 2 weeks, they've become more aligned to the system. The buy-in has been there. What does buy-in mean to you, and how challenging is that to get everyone doing what they're supposed to do at this time of year?
Well, I think it all comes down to accountability and demand. I think the most difficult thing for coaches is confrontation, because a lot of coaches are passive-aggressive people. They're afraid to confront. Most people don't succeed because of that one thing. I see it all the time. They're afraid to confront. because they're afraid of failure, they're afraid of no, they're afraid of this, they're afraid of this. But the common denominator, they're afraid. Why would you be afraid? You talk about Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo's not afraid. He knows how he wants his team to play. He knows what he wants his team to look like. And he's going to hold you accountable. And he's going to demand that you do it right. To me, that's one of the common denominators of all successful people in any walk of life, is that they understand the importance and how to confront. So that's where buy-in starts. Because not every kid wants to. They want to do it their way. Well, I'm not interested in their way. Here's the way we do it. And the thing, your best friend is your senior leadership. And just because you have seniors don't mean that they're leaders. I've seen some of the worst leaders I've seen have been seniors over the years. It's just like maturity. Some of those immature people I've ever seen is between 40 and 65. Age has nothing to do with maturity, just like leadership doesn't have anything to do with seniority. That's where recruiting is important, but being able to evaluate in recruiting is just as important.
Coach, you take a lot of pride in what you've built here in U of H, but you've been asked this before, but when you're on this stage, what does it mean to take all of this in with your kids right there by your side? And this journey that you've been on with them, that they're able to enjoy this alongside you now at this point.
That's more important than anything. I wish my whole team could be up here, just being able to answer questions and see their name here and read their quotes. I think that's to me, that's a good experience for them. You guys don't need to ask me anything else. I didn't need to come in here today. My man Brian started in on John Houston. That's when I knew the well was getting dry. He started asking me about the trainer. Good Lord. Just how deep is that well? But you think about it, wouldn't it be neat for kids that's, like you've seen Corey and Galen coming here? I've got 3 freshmen, all pretty good players. Kind of neat for them to get interviewed. They'd pucker up a little bit, but, they see those cameras and see you guys, and, they wouldn't know whether it's pitching or catching, but it'd be neat for them to do it. That's kind of what, to me, it's all about. It's hard to win a game. It really is. It's hard to win a game. I remember early in the year we played at BYU and played really good and won. And then 3 days later, we almost lost to Rio Grande Valley. And God, we tried so hard in that game, but it just seems like we were running uphill the whole game. Just couldn't get any traction. But it wasn't because of lack of effort. And we wind up winning. But that was such a hard game for us to win. And in the non-conference, you see so many upsets. Well, we didn't get upset that night, but we probably should have. They outplayed us. They outcoached us. That guy did a great job. His name is Lou Hill. Boy, was his team well prepared. And my team was not. I didn't have them prepared. Not nearly as good as he did. And then when you get in his tournaments, it's, like we played Liberty last year. We lost to, I'm trying to remember who we lost to. We lost to somebody not very good. And then the next game we played Liberty. The most important win of the year last year was beating Liberty at Liberty. We were supposed to go to San Juan, no, not Puerto Rico. Where were we supposed to go? Virgin Islands. Where was you can remember, Mark, where were we supposed to, where's Duarte? Remember, Joseph, where were we? Yeah, it was, right, Hurricane. They had to relocate it to, we signed up for St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands, and we got Lynchburg, Virginia. Somewhere along the line, that wasn't a good, that was not good. I think we're at the Hampton, what's the name of that hotel, the Hampton Inn? Is that it? I think we're at the Hampton Inn. We had to go out and get our meals. That was a tough trip. But we played Liberty, and I was watching some highlights of Liberty's game in Mississippi State. Same kids. That was a hard game for us to win. Probably should have lost that one too. Corey Davis got a rebound, put it in to put us up 2 with like 30-some seconds to go. But all these teams have good players. They're just good players, especially guards. You know, that's why the Wesson kid stands out, because not everybody has a good big. You know, that's watching this morning. I didn't see Ohio State play all year long. Didn't know their players. I'm sure they had not seen us, and I doubt they knew who our players were either. Or Iowa State. But watching Iowa State and Ohio State, that was a hard matchup for Iowa State because they have nobody to guard Wesson. So Mississippi State, Liberty,